Hi everybody, it's Alex. Welcome to Somewhere in October. We're doing a different kind of ranking today. I'm going to rank the 6 Stephen King books I've read so far. I'm a big reader, especially in the horror genre, so this is something I'll incorporate into my channel every once in a while. Stephen King books usually take a long time to get through, so I probably won't do another one of these for another year or so, at least. But we're going to go over the 6. I'm not going to have any spoilers, but I will talk about the premise of each book. Most of these are movies, most of these are movies that are on my list. And I'll just hint at if I've watched it and whatnot, but let's get into it. Coming at number 6, dead last, because I did not finish it, I barely got through a quarter of it, is Gerald's Game. So I'm actually, interestingly enough, gonna watch this movie tonight because the premise is interesting. The book was just unbearable because of the setting, and it was all kind of a mind trick. There was not enough movement for me. So I couldn't finish the book. But the premise is a woman is tied up at a cabin in this fantasy her husband has, and she's not loving it, and they kind of get into an altercation, and he ends up dying. And then the whole movie is about the psychological effects from that. I wouldn't be able to tell you how it is. I'm gonna do a review of the movie on my channel, but it just was unbearable to get through reading it because it was her talking to herself and her thoughts. I couldn't get through it, guys. I just couldn't get through it. Coming in at number 5, which may surprise you, but it's because of the others on this list, is Carrie. So I enjoyed Carrie as a read. I actually haven't seen the movie adaptation. That will be on my list, of course. It's good, it's interesting, it's crazy, but I also do think it'll be better done visually. I just wasn't as passionate about this one. I wasn't as excited or invested in this one. I do get the investment in Carrie as she's bullied and, she has this relationship with her mom and everything that happens to her and then what happens, but I was never really invested in the story, so that's why it's at 5. Coming in at 4 is Later. So this is a more recent book, I believe, and it's a shorter one, which we love sometimes. This was really, really fun. So basically it's about being able to solve crime by speaking to the dead. It has this really interesting story, and I'm like waiting for the conclusion. And Stephen King has kind of adapted this type of book a few times, so he's done a few stories that have, talking to ghosts or talking to spirits or getting messages from them kind of thing. And it was just an isolated story, like one incident. I kind of wanted more from it. The one time I'm like, write more, please. Maybe this is actually like a prequel to something I'm clueless about. Let me know if it is. But I think it's a perfect October read. It's a good book. It'd be cool as a movie. Number 3 is also maybe gonna surprise people, but The Shining. I did like The Shining, and even in my movies, it's not like one of my favorite movies. I do think that both watching the movie and reading the book didn't make it a more exciting experience for me. It actually took it out of each other. The book was great and interesting, but it couldn't capture what the movie could. And although the movie captured things brilliantly visually, because I read it, and I know there's differences, but because I read it, it kind of took away from the movie for me. And that doesn't happen a lot, where I have this like juggle of what do I like more, what do I like less. And I don't know what it is about The Shining, it just didn't hit the same for me, but at the same time, it's definitely going to be in my top 3. It's one of the best. The premise of The Shining is that a man goes to this secluded hotel and he's trying to get over writer's block, and his son is having premonitions or visions or hallucinations, and it becomes this wild, mind-boggling, evil consuming movie, and it's just so creepy, which I like. But for me, I want something that's a faster pace, or a story that I'm more invested in, and I wasn't just invested in these characters enough, I don't think. That brings me to my number 2 on this list, which is Pet Sematary, where I was really invested in the characters, and I think that's what made this better. And the story, I love the premise. So it's all about tragedy and death and grief, but it brings in the supernatural element of bringing people back to life, but what that means. Are they actually themselves? If you could bring someone back to life and knowing the cost, or maybe ignoring the cost, what would happen? This book was creepy. This book was scary. There were times where I was just so terrified that I knew when I see it on the big screen, I'm gonna love it. Hopefully. I know movie adaptations don't always hit, but I'm really excited to watch it. I just love the story, and I love the very powerful discussions and feelings of grief mixed with horror, and in a very unique way. And coming in at number 1, this should not be a surprise to you. If it is, welcome to my channel, It. It is a big ass book, and this is the only one of Stephen King's books that I've reread. I'm not a big book rereader unless I'm really passionate about it, and I've read, oh my god, and I've reread it. I keep getting stumbled on that. So it is basically about this clown or entity, Pennywise, and he uses fear and he chases it after children, and it's this cyclical thing that happens. So when the children grow up, he comes back. And it's basically about his pursuit of them and their responsibility to take them out. It does have some weird things in it, but overall I really, really love it. And I think what made me love this book more, which is different from The Shining, is I freaking love the It adaptations. Both the TV series with Tim Curry and of course Bill Skarsgård on the big screen. A lot of people said they didn't like It Chapter 2 as much. For me, I just really appreciated it. I spoke about this in my movie opinions a little bit, but there's a lot of book reference Easter eggs in the movies, so that was part of the viewing experience for me, and I think that really makes a difference. I loved it. It is so great. So those are my 6 ranked Stephen King books, and I hope to read a lot more, make this list bigger. But right now I'm watching movies. If there's a Stephen King adaptation that you love, let me know. By the time this comes out, Christine First Watch will be on my channel and probably Christine Review. I didn't read this book, but I love the movie, so see you in the next one. Bye!